Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the School of Mental Toughness show. I'm so excited to have Ashwini Ponnappa, the pride of India, especially badminton. And I have been an ex-badminton player, and I know how difficult it is to reach the level that she has reached. Thanks for being on the show, Ashwini. I'm so honored and
Thank you for having me.
yeah, really excited to have you. And I know how difficult it is to win one medal at the international level, and you've won so many. So almost 6 gold medals at the Commonwealth, and apart from that, you won a lot of silver and bronze, right?
Yeah, 2 golds and 6 medals in total. Yeah.
In total, yeah. So that's really awesome. And thanks. I think all my audience is going to be really excited to hear on how you have handled your mindset, right? So this show is basically about mental toughness and how mental toughness can help anybody reach their objectives, their goals, and actually make your life much more livable, right? So I just wanted to know, what is your take on mental toughness? What do you feel? What do you, when I say mental toughness, what comes to your mind?
It varies. I think mental toughness is a very broad term because in sports, it could be grittiness, it could be the fire that you have to fight, it could be self belief, it could be confidence. There are a lot of aspects to it.
Yeah.
I don't think you can just characterize it as one particular thing because mental toughness is a very broad, it's got a really broad spectrum.
Correct.
So for me, mental toughness would be to bounce back after tough losses, adversities. Mental toughness could be just dealing with things in a manner in which you don't let it affect you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of things. Again, it's pretty vast in my head what mental toughness is.
Understand. Do you think that, growing up I think you had a sporty background, right? Which means your parents also were into sports.
Yes,
Playing.
my dad played hockey and for the state, and then he played a lot of sports throughout his career when he was working for the Reserve Bank of India, all the way up until he retired. So he's played like a lot of sports. So in general, it was a lot easier because my dad understood what it took to like work and go and train. And then my mom, on the other hand, has also been extremely supportive, and she's done a bit of mountaineering, and she's also been someone who loves to go out and a lot more adventurous, I would say.
Yeah.
But she's someone who has a very keen eye into the mental aspect of things and someone who reads up a lot. And it's thanks to her that I have a lot of secondhand knowledge on a lot of things.
Wow.
It's not like I've done the research myself, but yeah, especially in the last recent couple of years, mom's been a lot into a lot of different books into like how you can deal with various situations.
Wow. And has that helped you in your game?
It has, because I would like, this is one particular instant, not one, many actually. There have been times when I've struggled with my mind before entering the court for certain reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this one time which was really tough, extremely tough, that I didn't want to get onto court. And it was a very, very bad situation that I was in. And I was really lucky that my parents were there with me then.
Okay.
And one of the ways in which I overcame that overwhelming feeling of not wanting to play was this thing called EFT. I don't know if you know what EFT is.
I know.
Emotional freedom technique.
Absolutely.
So yeah, thanks to my mom and her immense knowledge into all these things and research that she does, she basically sat me down and made me do EFT like the entire morning, half up until my match.
Wow.
And by the end of it, I couldn't even believe that I could actually go and play, and not just played fairly well. We lost that match, but then from the way I was feeling, to be able to like convert that into a fairly good game was quite remarkable, because my mind by the end of doing that whole series of EFT was good. I was in a good space to get onto court, because up until then, I honestly didn't want to even get onto court. It was pretty bad. But yeah, that's when I feel like stuff like this, when you are in a really bad position or a bad situation, it really helps. Because I've experienced, and from experience, like smaller aspects of things, I'm like, no, it's not going to work, or I don't feel like doing it. But when you're really desperate and you really need something, it works,
It
and it
works.
works like a miracle.
Yeah. Especially when you're playing a really, really important match or a tournament or something like that, and you go through.
Yeah.
So, do you believe that if this was taught to you earlier, in school or growing up, specifically, and how do you, approach a match and pre-prep your mind to, get through this instead of having your mother to help you, for example, if this was a part of your curriculum, would it have helped?
I don't know. I can't really say because I've realized that in the last couple of years, I've understood things way more than I have when I was younger. Because I mean, I don't know if I'd have been able to take it as well as I have in the recent years because my understanding of a lot of things is immense. It's like, whoa, I wish I'd known this, but I don't know if I'd have taken it when I was younger.
Yeah.
But having said that, when I was about 12 and a half, I did go and work with Ashlesh Rao. He's an NLP trainer. And he is someone who helped me overcome a lot of obstacles then. And he actually taught me to enjoy myself on court and go and play freely. And even to this day, there's one thing that really matters to me, and that is to like make sure that I enjoy myself on court. And that's something that worked with me. And the beauty is, I mean, when you're working with someone, especially when it comes to the mind, each of us have a different mental processing. The way we process things is very different. It's not the same.
Absolutely.
So for me, his approach really helped and worked. And throughout, I mean, my initial teens and the later part of my teens, I have gone to him on and off, and he's been a huge support and he's taught me a lot. But again, I think mental toughness, I feel like our approach to situations need to change in order for our mindsets to change. I
Absolutely.
wouldn't say it's just one particular tool because I feel like it's the way we deal with situations and the way we are taught to deal with situations.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we're like very subdued, or sometimes it's like we're very soon to be judgmental of ourselves.
Correct.
And sometimes it is the conditioning that you've been given. Okay, take responsibility for actions, take responsibility for this, or take responsibility for that, and do things that are in your control.
Yeah.
And it's always like you're trying to like, I don't know if it's a society thing, but it's like, okay, you're the underdog. Like, just make sure that you can do whatever you can and then don't really worry about everything else. So you take a lot on yourself.
Yeah.
I feel like if that changes, probably like on the broader spectrum of things might get better. Of course, tools are important. Again, everything needs to be ingrained into us
Correct.
from like a whole societal point of view,
Kind of a
in
holistic
my
approach.
opinion. Yes.
Yeah. Because I study all these great achievers quite a bit. So everybody has their own way of handling it, right? There's a very
Yeah.
Ronaldo is a big. I really follow him like crazy. So because I feel he's one of the greatest. And there's something very really really funny that he said. Not funny, but very specific that he said on how does he do self-talk, right? All of us talk to ourselves, right? A lot of times. And he said, especially when going for a match, he talks to the ball, right? So he talks subconsciously to the ball, and every time he goes for a penalty or every time he goes to to hit a goal, he's talking to the ball saying, why don't you go in this direction, that direction, subconsciously, which means that he
Mm-hmm.
says, I have a relationship with the ball,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's the self-talk that he does. So do you have any self-talk that you do when you're down? Maybe it's a very important match and you're down a couple of points or a lot of points, and then you need to come back to the game.
One thing that has helped me in the past is not self-talk per se, but just more keeping in mind the being in the now, focusing on one point and that point alone rather than the couple of points ahead or the couple of points that have gone. And the times I've done that are the times that have really helped and I've played really well. There are other times when I haven't done that and I've worried about, oh my God, we've lost the lead or we were leading. And then, I mean, sometimes these thoughts do creep in,
People.
and it's not like I've trained myself to think one step at a time, but there was a point when I did that, and that really helped.
And how does psychologists in the tour help you? You have
We don't.
you don't
I
have,
mean, I don't have a psychologist whom I'm going to, but as I said, when I was younger, I did go to Ashlesh
but the
and
teams
I
have,
did a
right?
lot of work. No,
But
we don't.
you don't.
No,
Okay,
no, no.
okay.
But if you want, you can, I mean, go out and get a psychologists or with the kind of sponsors we have right now. Like the teams we have, OGQ, all of them have psychologists on board. So if you need a psychologist to talk to, you can always.
Oh, it's an option that has been given.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. But again, it's not from the Indian team perspective, but it's more when you have support of OGQ or Go Sports, all these organizations have. Yeah.
Correct. So coming to your point of being in the moment, do you do meditation? Do you meditate? Do you think meditation helps quite a bit?
Again, as I mentioned earlier, I've changed a lot in it's amazing how much you grow, and it's amazing how much you understand, because my mom's always been after me to like do breathing ever since I was young. I hated doing it. I hated doing breathing exercises. No way I could have done meditation. But quite recently, I was introduced to this device called Dhyana from Gopi sir, and he gave all of us that. And for me, again, I found that it helped me because I don't think it was intense meditation. It's like short and sweet, and to get into the rhythm of things and it's a good place to start. Mm-hmm. And that was like something that I noticed when I did really helped me. And I was quite surprised because, I am someone who does get quite emotional and get affected by what people say and the situation around me. So when I started doing this, I noticed that, irrespective of what the situation was, I was a lot calmer. And it was amazing. I was like, whoa, I can't believe I could be this calm or not have any thoughts, not be too engrossed or too involved in the situation, but just accepting it for what it is. Yeah. And that was something that was remarkable. So since then, I'm like, okay, breathing is really good, guys. Breathing, meditation, it's good, But again, for me, in my journey so far, I've never done that before. And like I said, I never really had that inclination, interest, or that desire to do it. Yeah. But right now, it's different. Like right now, I understand. Or maybe I'm a lot more open to it. I don't know. But
yeah. You're more open to try new things and get to it. So coming to your journey, right? What inspired you to get to this level? Because there are a lot of people who get satisfied at being a state champion and getting to the national, winning the nationals and stuff like that. But you need some kind of a drive to go along. And now you've been playing for what, almost 20 years now?
Yeah, I've been playing on tour for the last 10 years, 10 years, the international circuit. But yeah, I've been playing badminton for close to 2 decades. Yeah.
Because it takes some kind of a drive, some kind of a goal that you need, to get going on that, right? So
I think it's mindset and perspective, because having this growth mindset is really important, and not being satisfied. Yeah. And I feel like for me personally, it wasn't something that I gave a lot of thought to. So initially it was just like simple things: state championship winner, being a part of the state team, then you get to like the nationals, then you want to be the national champion, and then you get this opportunity to represent India. And once that happens, then it opens your eyes to like, wow, there's this other world of badminton out there, which is way bigger. Yeah. And then as a kid, I think I was pretty naive, because I felt like Indians were the best going into like my first world championship or my Asian badminton championship. So I think that mindset has always made me believe that we can do it. We as Indians can do it really well. And of course, that also requires being in the right space, right time, right opportunities. And fortunately for me, those things fell into place. Because if you have the goal and you have the desire, especially when you're playing doubles, it's not the easiest, because you have another person on court, and you need the other person to have similar ambitions, similar goals, and a similar mindset. Because you could work really hard, but then if that mindset or that drive isn't there, it kind of goes down the drain, because all that hard work does not convert when you're on court if you don't have that drive or the mindset to like go for it. So I think for me, things fell into place, and I was fortunate and lucky for that to have happened. But again, I think me personally, I had a mindset of wanting to do really well. It was just that the right opportunity hadn't knocked on my door. And when it did, I grabbed it completely and didn't want to let it go. I mean, when you have to get the opportunity to play with someone who is extremely driven and someone who believes in herself, I think that changes things, because all you have to do is just do your bit,
Yeah.
and that's important, especially when you're playing doubles, because quite often, I mean, you see partners where one is working extremely hard, the other isn't, or one has extra belief and the other doesn't. And if that's there, then it's really tough. And that's kind of like the tricky part of playing doubles, because you need two people to be at sync and be in sync in order for things to fall into place. No matter how much you work,
True.
these things need to fall into place.
Absolutely. And your achievements are actually much, much bigger, only because doubles was absolutely not considered at all, in Indian badminton. It was not given the importance at all. So your achievement
True, true.
is something really, really big. Um, Coming back to the point, you said that, all these years that you played, often a lot of clients of mine, today's the generation of instant gratification, right? So people want
True.
everything at the touch of a button. Even their goals, they just want to reach the CEO once they join the company. The next day they come and ask you, when can I become the CEO of the company? So
True.
I always tell
True.
them that, as sportsmen, we always love the process, right? So we love training, we love
True.
everything,
True.
knowing very well that my results are going to come 10 years later, right?
True.
We never thought that, especially when we started off, and you also, right? It's not that you started off and went on to win the sub junior. Maybe it took a year, maybe it took a year or two to just get to that level and then get to the international level. So how important is it to love the process of whatever you're doing? Results will come once you are the best to at it.
Extremely, extremely important, because I mean, I've met people who have some incredible achievements, but unfortunately they haven't enjoyed the journey. So, and when you listen to them, it's like, yes, we won these incredible medals, but they're not happy. And
Yeah.
I'm like, how can you not be happy? Because I mean, and when you enjoy the journey, like for me, I would say the Commonwealth Games or the World Championships, these have been moments when it wasn't just the result, but what made it sweeter was the entire journey. The journey could be like training, working, getting there to the venue, the journey to the stadium, everything, like everything before, after, everything. And it's like you have these goals, and sometimes you just write them down, and then you have this belief that you're going to achieve it, and that's what keeps you going,
Yeah.
and that's what makes you like work. And it's that belief and that hope that it's going to happen that keeps you working every day. And it's sweet when you like enjoy everything, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if you expect things to happen immediately, then you're just going to be really upset about things not happening. If you're lucky, then wow, things will happen immediately. But if not, everyone goes through various hurdles in their lives.
True.
It's important to like just jump over it, take it in. Okay, it might be a terrible situation, but then time heals, and it literally heals a lot of wounds. So it's like, okay, you go through and then you get back, you pick yourself up. Most important thing is to keep picking yourself up and make sure that you believe in yourself. So yeah.
True. And as a sportsman, we have the privilege we have is to fail again and again, right? So, and that has helped me get across every damn hurdle in my life now quite a while. I'm sure it's helping you in your apart in your personal life too. This mindset, right? So no, a problem is a problem, right? You just
Yes.
go to the next.
I think we're lucky that we're playing badminton,
Yeah.
because we have, okay, you don't do well in one tournament, you have the opportunity to play in another tournament. But a lot of other sports don't have that luxury, because just say if you're into athletics or swimming, you're training throughout for that couple of seconds,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's, I can't even imagine being in that situation, because it's like, okay, you have that couple of seconds, it's all in or nothing, and you go there, you're having a bad day for whatever reason, and it's over. Whereas in that sense, I think we have luxury and freedom to like fail, try again,
Yeah.
because we have so many opportunities in a year, tournament after tournament, to like keep picking yourself up, to learn from your mistakes and to grow. So in that sense, I think, yeah, we are lucky, and we learn to take that failure, but sometimes it does get hard, especially when you're having a bad patch and things aren't going your way, and
Maybe you're
you're
injured.
not getting yeah, or you're not getting the results for whatever reason. It is tough. And for me, I found during that time, my family and friends have been like a huge pillar of strength.
Yeah.
Like, they've been the ones who have kept me going in a lot of ways. And I mean, I think they've also been the ones who've helped me stay positive in situations that have been extremely negative.
Mm.
And for that, I'm grateful. I think for me, in my journey so far, I would say it's been my friends, family who helped me, rather than a lot more than I've helped myself.
I think support system is the most important for achieving
Yes.
anything, I guess, right?
Absolutely. It could be
Yeah.
even just one person. It's not like
Correct.
you need a lot of people. It's
Absolutely.
just that one person whom you can trust
Yeah.
and who understands where you're coming from. And I think positivity plays a huge role. And one thing that I've learned is that you don't need negativity in your life in whatever way. You know, if things aren't going your way, you can always change. You don't need to like accept
Yeah.
it for what it is, unless it's something that you really can't do anything about. Then you've probably got to change the situation in your mind and turn it into something that's positive, and then it's a lot more effort. But otherwise, yeah, I think in this day and age, you do have the option of, okay, things aren't good, you can change. And which is what a lot of youngsters are doing. I mean, they're not happy with their job, then they're like, fine, we're not going to stay here.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah, that we have that luxury right now.
Yeah, because every day you open the papers and you see one or two suicides that are actually reported, and everybody's
Yeah.
just giving up their lives for something small, right? So I just tell them that a relationship doesn't go well, or your money issue is bad and stuff like that. Taking a life is not the solution. So
Yeah.
talking to yourself, especially during these times that you said Corona was not in our hands, right? We just have no control over
True.
it, but it's all
True.
about how you talk to yourself. And
True.
one thing about mindset and mental toughness is about prepping yourself up and getting into the flow state, right? So especially
True.
before going to a match or going for a big meeting as a working in a company or a presentation or wherever, everybody has a ritual that they follow to get into the flow. Everybody does that, right? I've seen corporate CEOs do that. I've seen doctors do that. I've seen a lot of actors do that. Just before a scene, they have a ritual that they get into that flow, irrespective of what is going on in the head. They might be having problems
True.
at home, problems anywhere, but then once they start that ritual, they get into the flow and everything is gone. It's blinded and they just go for the kill. So, do you have any rituals and do you believe in it?
I think when I was younger, I did. And I mean, I did have some strong ones, some really dumb ones, and then finally no rituals at all. But one thing I do believe in for my game, it would be a good warm up. I think a good warm up is my ritual, because it's just like focusing, getting my body moving. Again, music for me isn't something that is constant, because I'm constantly listening to different kinds of music. It depends on the situation, the place, a lot of factors. It depends. The genres could just change,
Yeah.
like something really peppy to something like totally mellow. So for me, it's more a good warm up, I would say, is a part of my ritual, because that is the starting point for me to like before entering the court, because it not only keeps your body free, safe, injury free, and ready, but it also makes you get primed for what's to come on court.
True, true, true. Because I train salespeople, so now I've started calling them sales athletes, right? Because sales is a something like sport where you get more failures than success. So
Mm-hmm.
now I've started talking to companies and making sales mindset as like sports. So which means before they go for a sales call, there is a priming that happens. So they get into the flow and then they actually go out there and see, how they can win that deal. So
Mm-hmm.
because I've been studying rituals and people have crazy rituals, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
Federer, Nadal, and all eat the same thing every day before a match, right? Before the
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly the same thing. They will not change it. And Nadal keeps some 4 5 bottles of water in a specific space, place, and he goes
Yeah.
berserk even if one bottle goes the other way. So it's all
Yeah.
about it's all about how you get into that flow and how do you take it forward. So it's actually there are a lot of questions that are coming to my mind, but what is it for you that will say, okay, I've really given my best, which means that now's the time that I know I've done justice to the talent and the hard work that I've had. You've achieved so much, right? There's so many others who would have loved to be in your shoes. So what do you think is the ultimate, that in your mind, saying that, okay, this is what, if I achieve, I'm really happy, or are you happy with what you've achieved?
Not quite. I mean, I'm not really. I don't feel like I've explored the full potential that I have.
Yeah.
So, which is what makes it interesting and exciting. Because given that I'm the age that I am, it's like, whoa, okay, it's not favorable, but at the same time, it's favorable in a lot of ways because I have a lot of experience now. I have a lot of understanding. The key, most important thing for me right now would be to look after my body, and as long as that's done, there's a lot that I have in my mind that I can take forward to my game. And that makes it exciting. And I actually find getting older very exciting. I've been finding that like it's amazing because it's like so many things that I'm understanding now, or probably I'm open to understanding. I don't know if everyone's got that mindset, but for me personally, it's like I'm really keen on learning and growing. And that's making me very aware of what's happening in my head, what's happening around me. And I'm always up to learning. It could be from anyone, anything, any situation, but I like looking at the positives and taking the positives from that. So given that, it's like it's pretty interesting for me. It's because I'm like, I don't feel like I've achieved what I've set out to achieve, and I have quite a few things that I have in my mind and I'm working towards. And it's exciting that in I've got this opportunity, I've got opportunities rather to um, get more working towards those goals,
Mm.
get more into those aspects. And again, a good support system matters. And I'm happy with a lot of the realizations that I've had during this lockdown. It's been amazing, good and bad. But yeah, one of the good realizations is that taking things into my own hand. I
Mhm.
think that's something that is exciting for me right now. And that makes me believe that I can go after the goals that I have set out for myself, because it gives me the freedom and flexibility to work towards it. Because sometimes you are put in a situation where you don't have absolute freedom over what's happening, and then you just go with the flow. And sometimes you have to take the road less traveled. You just have to just stop and be like, hey, this is not working, then I've got to like take the road less traveled, and it's fine. It's very uncertain, but it's okay.
Okay.
And these realizations have made it very exciting for me going forward. It's like, whoa, there are these possibilities. So it makes it exciting for me to like get up and train, get up and work, and because there is a purpose and there is something that I'm working towards. And of course, I've had this purpose and goal for a while, but sometimes it's like when you feel like you're not doing enough, or for whatever reason the situation's not giving you enough, it's time to change. And it's like that realization is pretty amazing. So yeah, I'm actually excited for the next couple of years. I don't feel like I've given it my all, but of course I do value my past achievements. I do treasure them a lot. I am proud of them because they have been firsts, but I don't think that's all I have in me.
But I think the way you're saying it, I think you're enjoying the game much better now without the pressure of getting that result. You're enjoying the
Not
process,
really. I
or
mean,
much better.
I feel like the pressure to perform has been there, and it hasn't been easy that we haven't performed up to like where we should have, especially in recent years. But the excitement is realizations, these realizations. And I feel like the realization that things can be done, but it's just that you need to get out of your comfort zone. And that's not easy,
True.
especially when you have everything given to you and then things are going hunky dory. You sometimes get really complacent and you're like, okay, I'm just going to go with the flow. And you can't expect miracles to happen. No one's going to do that. It's up to you to pick yourself up and make sure that it happens.
True.
It doesn't come to you. You've got to work towards making it happen. So yeah, that realization is very, very exciting for me because that's made trading a lot more fun. It's made it a lot more, I'm a lot more driven, I would say.
True.
And yeah, I like age. I like getting old.
No, that's nice to hear. That's really, really nice to hear. Because lots of people actually get, towards depression when they, the career, when they age and they see that things going forward and stuff like that. But you're so positive. There's so much that people can learn from this, because my audience is a vast spectrum from students to CEOs. So there's so much of content and so much of value that you've given. Yeah, really thanks. I have one last question.
Thank you. Yeah, sure.
I just want you to give my audience, if possible, 3 things that they can actually do to make them mentally tougher, or change their mindset, or ensure that they achieve their goals.
I think the number one thing is acceptance. It's to accept situations, accept who you are, accept where you are, accept what's happening. And because quite often people are in denial.
Yeah.
Denial of their own behaviors, denial of their situation, denial of a lot of things. So I think one of the most important things is acceptance. And once you accept, then you can move forward. If you don't accept, then how are you going to move forward? And the second thing would be to take charge. Once you accept, then you take charge of the situation and make sure that you do everything you can in your power to like overcome the situation and do what's best for you. And I think the third thing is to be kind to yourself, because I think the world is filled with a lot of people who are out to get you and out to say mean things. And of course, there are a lot of people who are extremely sweet, extremely helpful, extremely nice. But then when you yourself are hard on yourself, then you're giving people the freedom to be hard on you. Yeah. So I think it's acceptance, taking charge, and being kind to yourself.
Wow. I think they really need to hear this, because so many people don't do this,
I have no clue where all this is coming from, but then, yeah.
No, I think the lockdown has helped.
It has helped in a lot of ways, because for me, I think my mind really went all over, because there were days when I was happy. I was like, okay, we have a break, and days I'm like, what's happening? And days where I was totally gone. So I think all these things, but I was aware. The good thing was I was aware of everything happening. I'm known for being a thinker. A lot of people around me are like, okay, Ashwini, relax. Don't think too much. Don't think too much. I think I've grown up with the term, don't think too much. But now it's like, I like thinking. I mean, because I'm learning in a lot of ways. Maybe sometimes I overanalyze situations, but then in a lot of ways, it also does help me, because I'm also a little bit more, thoughtful with what I say. Because sometimes you can say things out of emotions, but yeah, that happens. It's not like it doesn't happen, but
we are human.
Yeah, but it's funny. It's so funny that I'm speaking like this. But yeah, these are things that I have realized.
That's nice. So thanks a lot, Ashwini. You've provided great value, and I'm sure
Thank you.
Audience is going to take away a lot. It was an amazing conversation. And really, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm so honored to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me on the show. It was fun.
I hope the questions were not asked before, so that I
No. I have had questions like this, but I think for me right now, I'm in a space where, as I said, I understand things a lot better, which is why it's easier for me to like speak out about things. Because in the past, it was like, I think a lot of denial, or a lot of, okay, I didn't want to speak about a lot of things, but now it's easier because, again, acceptance. And it's like, okay, fine. I mean, you're here, you've gone through certain situations, everyone goes through them, but you learn from it. And again, I like growing. I think growing is so important. The beauty is there's no end to growing. There are so many people around us who keep improving, keep changing at various ages. And it's amazing, remarkable to like watch them and be like, damn, you can learn at any age. And as you get older, it only gets better because you understand so much better. So it's quite cool.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ashwini. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
See you. Bye.
Bye.